Good horror is something that builds tension. Amazing horror is something that prolongs that tension to the very end without any resolution. The story goes that an ice shelf in the Antarctic broke off, revealing a monolithic industrial building. We, as a part of a special investigation group, are sent here to examine the facility and share our findings. As soon as I enter the lobby, a sense of dread had rushed over me. A pendulum and a clock, active, were on the wall, counting to something. As I head into the elevator, I started to go down into the depths of the madness I didn't know I was about to face. What baffled my mind was, how was this place still active? Every now and then the facility would make some noise or move on its own, as if it knew I was here. But the running lights, the equipment, everything was in working order for the most part. There was this room that had the machinery turned off. I operated the valve and it all started to come back into life. I realized a small opening led to this ladder that went all the way to the top. I was curious where this led to. It led me to the abyss. Towering pipes that extended into the sky went down into nothingness, and in between was I, small and insignificant. I had a feeling that this place was already influencing my mental state, but I had a job to do. I had to find out what this facility was used for and who built it. In one of the halls, I discovered what seemed like a waste disposal area, but it felt like one of the many feeding mouths of this monster I had stepped into. From what I had seen so far, the obvious thought would be that this might be a waste processing facility, but I wish that was the case. I saw storages made of metal and strange rusted contraptions that started from somewhere and went to God knows where. And throughout all of this, I found the strangest thing, a room full of TVs. What were these TVs doing here, sitting so freely? Why in this strange placement? I wanted to find out more, and that led me going down a flight of stairs and I felt as if I was going deep into the darkest depths of my mind. Then I heard something. Something or someone was moving. Strange sounds echoed in the halls or maybe in my mind, and the idea of either of them being real was frightening. I found myself in one of the maintenance tunnels of the facility. Maybe from here I could take a shortcut to other places in the facility. I had found a vent that led into the maintenance shafts that led me to this monstrous machine that spewed electricity. I pressed on forward, holding on for dear life. There was a vent and I tried to open it, and I had found a vent that led into the maintenance shafts, but I decided to check it out on my way back. Coming out into a tunnel, I realized I had descended into level 2. The situation here was a little more dire. Some of the ceilings had collapsed and much of the facility had been blocked off. The sheer massive scale of this place gave me the creeps, and the way how it all connected together formed a very disturbing puzzle. Small hallways that led into gigantic chambers never failed to make me dizzy. There was this conveyor belt that I redirected to a different pipe. This maybe led to the waste disposal chamber I saw earlier. Then I saw something very alarming. The reactor's gate was locked and the flashing red light definitely meant something was wrong. I found my way to the control panel where something again moved. The control panel showed me that the reactor's chamber and the cooling mechanisms were at critical levels. But a reactor? What was a reactor doing in a place like this? Before the facility goes up in a massive explosion, I decided to fix the issue and try to save everything, including myself. I had to find the coolants and the temperature equipment. I delved deeper into the facility, into level 3. It was pitch black, with halls that echoed with sounds of lost souls and machineries working behind the walls. There was a scraper here, but it was out of fuel. In the next room is where it all started to go wrong. Two machines, one bloodied and the other churning what seemed like flesh. What is this place? I can't seem to figure out the purpose. Its aesthetic is something that frightens me, and its unanswered questions leave me disturbed. I had found this chamber, and I didn't even want to imagine what or who got thrown into these machines. So far, it felt like all of these machines and chambers were built as a feeding mechanism for something. But what is that something? Now, at this part, I had sort of gotten really confused, so I used the power of astral projection to further figure out this mystery. Astral projection, otherwise known as no-clipping. As I walked through these gigantic chambers, I felt as if some colossus would rise from beneath me and devour me. The brutal architecture further elevated my feelings. I had gotten myself trapped in this nightmare and there was no way out now. Either I fix what's wrong or accept my fate. Then I found something. On a tile, there were markings of someone, something, a deity. Something that the reactor, if working right, might wake up. But this left me at an impasse. Do I let the reactor explode? Or do I stop it from exploding, hence waking up whatever is kept inside this facility? I pressed on and found the coolant chamber. Fixing the coolants meant one part of the problem was fixed. Now I had to fix the temperature and wake up whatever this facility was housing inside it. Then I entered into this chamber with a large half-cylindrical structure. Inside is what I assumed to be red-hot metal, or coal. I didn't find anything else of significance here, so my search for fixing the reactor's temperatures continued. I found myself in a room full of flesh. The smell was absolutely horrifying, and the thought of this flesh's origins scared me. But even after astral projecting around, I couldn't find what I was looking for. Hence, I was trapped forever inside this nightmare. Vacant Industry just might be one of the best maps of 2023, and maybe one of the greatest maps ever made for Garry's Mod. The way it's laid out and how there's an actual story behind all of this is just fantastic. I definitely hope someone else covers this map as well in its entirety and actually solves the story. I was quite disappointed in myself that I couldn't figure it out, even with my multiple attempts, with and without no clipping. The main takeaway from this map is the sparse use of light, mixed in with the monotonous, textured, brutal architecture, and of course, the absolutely amazing sound design. If you haven't checked it out, just load into this map and just walk through it, preferably using headphones. I swear this will spook you out more than any PNG jump scare or analog horror can. This map also reminded me a lot of the Beta Citadel from Half-Life 2's leaked maps, specifically some parts of it. I loved how simple it starts yet dissolves into this subtle nightmare. I checked online to figure out what I was supposed to do, and there were instructions and guides and stuff like that, but again, it was too complex for me to understand where I was supposed to go or what to do. But definitely check this map out. One of the best maps I ever loaded into. Thanks so much for watching, and a big thanks to these benefactors for supporting the channel. Bubba, Cats, T-Boy301, Quiltman, Unusual, 501st Clone Boy, Interloper CS, TTG, Robocop, Noel, Nobody Important, Franco Sanlehi, Cheemsboger, Justin Imbergriff, Pterosaur, Otokan Nachos, Lamdre, Roadkill, Walter, Taylor, Hobgobbies, NoClick, Geout, Fisher Grice, Hawk Assault, Mistress Paban, Jelen, A Normal Street Lamp, TRR Droid, and Bipolit. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.